you're like me, you like to be prepared. You like to know details ahead of time so that you can get ready. We don't want any surprises. Working with a bookkeeper can seem maybe a little nervous making, maybe scary. So here's some tips on how you can prepare yourself now so you can be ready to work with a bookkeeper or accountant who does bookkeeping in the future. First thing is you're going to want a business bank account. I'm sure you've heard that. But which bank account? So you want to choose a bank that offers view-only access. So your checking account, savings account, whatever bank you choose, you want one that allows someone else like me, like your bookkeeper, to have their own login, but it only allows us in to see your reports, to pull the statements, and that's it. We don't want to be able to move money around or do anything like that. That's the first thing. Get a bank that offers separate login for an accountant with view-only access. Now, not all banks have this. Some banks, if you ask, they might not even know what you're talking about. I can tell you off the top of my head, I know Relay works really well. They're actually made for this, but they are an online-only bank. And then Chase is pretty good about giving access. And then for credit cards, those can be trickier. Chase is, again, still really good, at least with getting your own separate login. American Express, it's also possible too. And Bank of America, it's also possible to get a separate login. Oh, and it's true for checking too, Bank of America. So that's one thing to consider that you might not have thought of. Another thing that you can do to prepare for getting a bookkeeper in the future is using that business account only for your business. This will keep things simple, just because you don't have to remember, oh yeah, I spent, I don't know, the $2,000, but that was actually my vacation and I just forgot and used my business card. If you keep everything just business, you don't have to explain anything later. And again, if you forget and use your business card for personal stuff once in a while, it happens. It's fine. It's just you want to not make it a habit. Okay. And then if there is any situation that you feel like you might need to explain, such as you had maybe like a personal account for a few months because you weren't sure if you're going to keep doing this business, and then you realize, okay, yeah, this will be like a permanent business. Let's switch to a business account, and then you use that going forward. You might want to write that down. And so for this, I'll just say keep a record of oddities or anything strange that you might forget about later on. So just write it down somewhere. Maybe just have a Word doc. Just call it like record for future bookkeeper. And then you would just, it could be a bullet point and then put the date. Like if you switch to a business account from a personal account, you can put, I don't know, let's say it was April 1st, 2024. We stopped using our Capital One personal checking account and then switch to our business account. That's fine. You can write that down. I'm trying to think what other oddities that happen. Oh, so maybe you put in some money for the business and you want to pay yourself back. You can make a note of how much and when that was, and then that you want to pay yourself back. Because sometimes people forget to let us know that. So when I'm cleaning up clients' books, sometimes that stuff will come out like later when we're asking questions, and they'll realize, oh yeah, that 5,000, I wanted to pay that back to myself. So anything like that. If people have loaned you money to start it and they also want that paid back, you definitely want a record of that. And actually, to really, you want a whole like loan agreement written out, signed by parties. But that kind of gets into more like the legal tax side of things. But you definitely want a record of those situations. Last thing that I can say that's really easy you can start doing now that will prep you to have a bookkeeper in the future is to get all your statements, receipts, any kind of paperwork associated with running your business, starting your business, maintaining your business, or if you buy any like equipment, machinery, you'll want to get all of those and save them in one place, preferably online, like some cloud storage like Google Drive or OneDrive. You want to get them and save it. And the reason I say in one place is because then that's much easier to hand over to a bookkeeper, because we're going to ask you for a lot of documents. And so if you can just be like, here, I have them all in here, look in it and tell me what's missing, then we would love that. We'll look at it. We can even organize it for you. and then tell you like, hey, we're missing, I don't know, last month's statement, but we have everything else. It just makes things easier for you, for us, because we know it's a lot to ask. Sometimes it can be a long list. So those are the 4 things you can do now to prep your business so that you're ready to hire a bookkeeper.